So, welcome back. Mobile phones, laptops, digital cameras and electric vehicles has one common denomination, and that is rechargeable batteries. Without lithium, there will be no rechargeable batteries. Second only to the government in Chile and the local company SQM, Lithium Chile is the biggest landholder of Lithium Salars, and here I will expose my ignorance, but I believe that should be salt-encrusted depressions. If technology permits, we should have Stephen Cochrane, CEO, with us from Lithium Chile. Stephen, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Excellent. I can hear you and I can see you. Well, hello and good morning. And nice to see you, and we're grateful for you taking the time. Please take us through the presentation, please.
I'd love to, and really thanks to your group and to your audience for giving me this opportunity to tell you what I think is one of the most exciting stories in the lithium space today. And I hope you'll feel the same way after I go through my presentation. But very quickly, the opening slide here is basically our Argentinian project. This is the Salar de Arizaro, and this is part of the testing we're doing in our current production well test program. And I'll get into that a little further along as we go. Here's your standard disclaimers that everybody has, but really on to who is Lithium Chile. And I appreciate it. You're right. We are one of the largest property holders of prospective lithium salars in all of Chile. But more importantly, right now, we also have a significant land position in Argentina in the Salar de Arizaro. We're one of the few companies that I'm aware of that currently have lithium projects in two of the three lithium triangle countries, and that's of course Chile and Argentina. Our total property in Chile amounts to 68,800 hectares, and in Argentina it's currently 23,300 hectares. This will give you an idea of exactly where the lithium triangle is. This map shows Bolivia to the northeast. Of course, we have Argentina to the southeast, and Chile runs along the coast. All our properties on this map are highlighted in red, and as you can see, we really extend both the length and the breadth of the South American lithium triangle. Our northernmost property, Coipasa, Aguilera to the south, and on this map you can see our Argentinian block on the Salar de Arizaro. So again, gives us a position not only of being a large property owner, but also we have the benefit of being in two jurisdictions. Quickly, this again is a map of our Argentinian property, and why it's important right now is it's because we're currently drilling a production test well. Lithium Chile up until about 4 months ago was purely a lithium exploration play. But the recent joint venture we did in Salta province in Argentina actually allows us to drill a previous discovery to prove it has commercial value. And that's significant because, as you've seen recently, the acquisitions that are going on in Argentina are with companies that are pre-production but have proven they've got a resource. And we're currently in the midst of that right now. This well is actually completed drilling. We're now in the completion phase, and we expect testing to begin of that well sometime before the end of the month. Real quickly, though, this is where our property is in Argentina, the Salar de Arizaro, but only 50 kilometers away you have the Salar de Paso Grande, and that's where Millennial Lithium currently has their property. And if you've been following recently, there's a huge bidding war to acquire Millennial Lithium. The initial offer from the Chinese was $3.80 a share, got bumped to, $3.60, got bumped to $3.80. And this week, Lithium Americas came back in with a $4.80 offer. So it just shows you right now how interested outside parties, particularly the battery manufacturers, are in acquiring these lithium assets. So only 50, 60 kilometers away, we think we could be in the thick of things here very shortly. This is a bit of why lithium has taken off. Lithium this year has been the strongest performing commodity. That's driven by demand, but it's also driven by governments. For the first time ever, we're seeing not sort of bottom-up demand, we're seeing top-down demand created by governments mandating that people change the way that they get around. And the single biggest step that governments could do to reduce their carbon footprint is to convert all the internal combustion engines to electric. And we're starting to see that gain traction both in Europe. US has mandated, I think, 60% EVs by 2030. So the foreseeable future is very bright for battery-driven vehicles and, of course, lithium. Again, this is just a chart showing what's happened to lithium prices in the last, really the last 1 year. In September of 2020, prices were about 4,500, 5,000 US. This is an old chart because right now, lithium prices per metric ton are trading at 30,000 US per metric ton, over 200,000 RMB in China. Quickly, why lithium brines? Well, lithium brines are the cheapest, most pure form of producing lithium carbonate. The hard rock of the Australian miners, some of the miners in northern Canada who are trying to produce lithium from hard rock, it's very challenging and the quality is just not there. So most of the battery manufacturers prefer the lithium carbonate that's derived from brines. And to do that, you have to look at South America, particularly Argentina and Chile. Again, we're just touching on a couple of our properties. It's important to note that we have 13 properties in Chile, one property in Argentina, but all of them look very prospective for lithium. Coipasa, one of our second largest, third largest properties, straddles the Salar de Coipasa straddles the Bolivian border. About 4/5 of the Salar are on the Bolivian side. A fifth is on the Chilean side. We control 75% of the Chilean side. But what makes this very interesting is a Chinese group called the Xinjiang TBA Group came in February of 2019 and offered to invest 1.3 billion for only 49% on the Bolivian side. So they're valuing this whole Salar close to $3.5 billion. We own the Chilean side of the same Salar, and yet we've got a sub $100 million market cap. So just this property alone could justify our current market cap. Laguna Blanca, another property that's very interesting because it's rich in cesium. Cesium is now a very, it's a strategic mineral as designated by the USGS, but it's seen a lot of interest because it's used in 5G networks. So demand for cesium is up. There's only 3 producers in the world of cesium. 3 mines in the world, producing cesium, and they're all owned by the Chinese. So we've received a lot of interest in this property just based on its cesium content alone. Los Moros, it's ready to drill. We filed drilling permits, or in the process of filing drilling permits on this property. Looks very interesting as well. So those are 3 of the projects on the Chilean side. Moving along now. Again, talking a little bit about the Argentinian project. We've joint ventured with the Gali family out of Salta province. They're a very influential, very highly regarded family in Salta province. But more importantly to us, they have their corporation is comprised of 3 companies that are very, very complementary to us. They own an assay lab. They own 49% of probably the best assay lab. So it means we could turn around our samples very quickly. They own a construction company. They've been instrumental in building our road and building our drill pad. But the Galleys also own a chemistry company. So they've done 2 years worth of work analyzing the exploration hole. So they have a very good understanding of what the chemistry looks like, what the lithium grades are. That's invaluable to us because once we prove that this is potential producing commercial well, a lot of the work has already been done. Understanding the chemistry, understanding the process have already been done by the galleys. So that's a huge lift. That's a huge positive for us as well. Again, the other important takeaway, you need the support of the Indigenous communities. Anywhere in the world you go today, you need to have the Indigenous communities support your projects. And I'm pleased to say that the Tulare Grand Indigenous community are 100% behind this project. They not only have supported it, they're housing our drill crew, but when we began our drilling project, the community elders came out and blessed the whole project. So to have that kind of support from the local Indigenous communities is very rare, and we're very proud of it. Again, drilling is done. We're down to 452 meters. It appears geophysically that we have 120 meters of brines. What we're doing now is completing the well in the 120-meter section, so allow us to test, isolate, and test that zone so we have a very good understanding of what the lithium potential is on that well. Lastly, just for everybody there, just a quick snapshot. We've got currently 139 million shares outstanding. We have warrants, 15 million warrants, exercisable at 60 cents. Management is probably closer to 50%. Management and key stakeholders own about 50% of the stock. And we currently have $4.1 million cash in the bank, but we will close this Friday, early next week, on a recently announced 60-cent financing, and that will bring an additional $4.1 million into the kitty. So right now we're looking at no debt, cash balance of about $8.2 million, and well, that's getting close to completion. So I certainly see the next 30 days as being very exciting for us. Quickly, just to touch on the lithium market in general, the recent price increase has driven merger and acquisition activity. There's been a number of deals announced particularly in the last couple of weeks. First of all, you had Millennial Lithium, another Canadian lithium company that has a resource in Argentina. They're in the bidding war, as discussed. The offer's gone from $3.60 now to $4.80 of cash. But the second one that happened in the last couple of weeks is Neolithium. Again, another Canadian lithium producer with one property in Argentina, and they just received a $960 million cash bid for their property. So all the companies involved are either Chinese or partially Chinese owned in the case of Lithium America. So it just shows you the demand for lithium in Asia, but also the concern that China has that they can secure sufficient supply of lithium to meet the growing demand. So we think we're well positioned to benefit from this activity and see the next 3 to 6 months as very attractive. Again, just a couple of milestones. Argentina, we're drilling. We expect to be testing here in the next couple of weeks. Coipasa, which is probably our premier Chilean property right now. We would like to be drilling that sometime in the next couple of months. We've been approved. We're just waiting for the community, the Indigenous community there, to set the terms of what we have to pay them for our drill program. But we're very, very excited about that opportunity. And again, as we mentioned, Laguna Blanca, we've done some metallurgy on the cesium there, really to satisfy some requests we've had from other companies, just trying to understand what that cesium asset may look like. Quickly, myself, President, CEO, I had 36 years on the investment banking side. I took this company public back in 2013. So I've been intimately involved since its inception, but I only joined them as president in 2017 because I saw the opportunity and really the future for lithium. Terry Walker, our vice president and chief explorationist, he's got 27 years of exploration experience in Chile. Very valuable. He's been key to putting together the property we have. Jose de Castro is our Argentinian lithium manager. 25 years, chemical engineer, started Oro Cobre. He was one of the founders of Oro Cobre, which just merged with Galaxy in a $4 billion deal. He then started Energy. He's currently the one overseeing this well, and I have all the faith in his experience and expertise. So we've got a very good team, both here in Canada and, of course, on the ground in South America. And that is a quick snapshot of who we are. I hope that's a lot of information. I hope everybody got at least a little sense of the excitement that we have right now, not only in the industry as a whole, but obviously in our company.
Well, thank you so much, Stephen here, and I will kick off the questions here by exposing my ignorance here. But am I right in describing extracting lithium as more of evaporating than mining? And if so, the main thing here to produce is really to sit on the assets. Is that correct?
Yes. You have actually sort of summarized it, simplified a little bit, but the primary benefit to lithium in brines versus lithium in hard rock is that Mother Nature has done most of the work for you. Over the centuries, over the millennial, the heavy snowfall, the heavy snowpack in the Andes melts every spring and leaches the lithium out of the surrounding rock. And then it deposits it in these above-ground lakes. So your lithium's already been extracted, so to speak, and it's just sitting there in the brines. So the primary benefit of that is twofold. One, of course, is your cost, or primary your cost. I mean, to produce a ton of hard rock lithium, you're looking at about 6,000 US per ton. To produce a ton of lithium carbonate out of brines, you're only about 1,500 to 2,000. So it's significantly cheaper. The other advantage is that more than 70% of the known reserves of lithium in the world are in Argentina and Chile. So not only do you have this low cost producing lithium from these brines, but more than 70% of the known lithium deposits in the world reside in those two countries. So the brines are going to be a significant contributor going forward, and we're just pleased to be part of that.
So basically, if we can repeat that, the production cost is as low as 1,500 per ton, and I would compare that to the price, which is more closer to $30,000 per ton.
Huge profit margins, yeah. And I think that's why the Chinese in particular are so aggressive right now in acquiring these South American assets. Not only the low cost, but the stability, predictability of some long-term supply is very important to them.
And I understand that Chile is opening up contacts for 400,000 metric tons of lithium carbonate production, if I pronounce it correctly here. What's the significance there? Could you walk us through there?
This is a huge game changer for Chile and Lithium Chile. When I've been doing my presentations to various groups, they love Chile. They love the quality and the cost of lithium production in Chile. But the one concern everybody had was that the government regulatory environment in Chile was much tougher than other countries in that South American lithium triangle. So they saw the Chilean government as being, I wouldn't say obstructionist, but certainly more difficult to produce lithium in Chile than other countries in South America. 2 weeks ago, that all changed. Chile saw their position as the #1 producer of lithium carbonate in the world slip to #2, and they're on the verge of going to #3 because of their restrictive regulations. So they announced that they're opening the door. They are putting up 400,000 metric tons of lithium carbonate production annually up for tender. And whoever gets those, they're going to be 5 blocks of 80,000 metric tons a year of annual production. And so what Chile says, we're open for business. And I think they're going to attract some of the biggest players in the lithium space in the world to bid on these contracts. Put in perspective, the entire global production right now of lithium carbonate is about 330,000 tons. Chile alone is now putting 400,000 tons up for sale. So that's a huge a lift for us, because one of the things that happens, they're putting up these contracts to produce lithium and sell it, but it doesn't come with lithium. It doesn't come with land. It doesn't come with any guaranteed of lithium. So a lot of these companies that are going to be bidding, they're going to have to turn around and find potential partners that may have lithium assets in Chile, and that makes us very attractive. We are, as one of the largest landholders, long-term player in Chile. We've already had overtures by a number of companies to say, would we be willing? And I said, absolutely. You know, everything's on the table. So hopefully that tender process, the actual tender bid process starts on November 8th and finishes December 17th. The contracts will be awarded January 14th of next year. So all of this is going to happen in a very short period of time.
So basically, anyone who is tendering a contract or winning a contract, as it were, but don't really have the assets, will be forced to seek someone who is a landowner, and that would include yourself.
We've already talked to a couple of our contemporaries in Chile. They've already seen prices start to firm for lithium properties. They think it's just going to be a real windfall to Chilean-based lithium companies, and we see that as really significant to us going forward.
So basically, if I go back to the timeline here, so if all stars align here, when will you see production and bidding here? Will that be within the next 3 to 6 months? You mentioned 2 times here, 30 days, next coming 30 days, and then 3 to 6 months would be very interesting news-wise.
Well, again, if you're looking for catalysts that I think are going to drive our valuation, there's 2 big ones currently. One, of course, is the potential production, the potential resource coming out of our Argentinian program. We see that as we'll have results in the next 30 to 45 days from that program, and that takes us overnight from an exploration company to a commercially producing company. So that's one catalyst. But the second catalyst is really what Chile announced 2 weeks ago, this opening of the country for lithium development. And we expect that to be concluded by mid-January. So really you have sort of November, December, January, 2.5 months. Those contracts will be awarded. Then the process will begin, who do we deal with? Where do we find lithium? Who should we be talking to? And I think that's going to be another catalyst that will certainly drive our valuation going forward.
So the transformational about your project in Argentina would be that you will be a producer. Is that correct?
Potential to be a producer, right?
Yeah.
Production is based upon lithium production is based upon 2 things, and you touched on it, because the current method of producing lithium brines is to pump the brines to the surface, let natural evaporation take place, concentrate that lithium brine, and then send it for production. So commerciality is dependent on 2 things, of course, grade. The higher grade, like in any mining opportunity, it's all about grade. And in the tests that we did, the tests that the galleys did on the exploration well, we had an average grade of about 850 milligrams per liter in this structure. That's an extremely high-grade lithium deposit for Argentina. But the second, of course, is flow. How much fluid can you pump out? Because that's going to determine production and production capabilities. And that's what we're testing right now. We've drilled a very large diameter hole. A pump will be placed in it. And then for 30 days, we will be pumping fluid to see what kind of volume and what kind of grade we see, and those two factors will combine to give us really an understanding of the commercial potential of that field.
And how will that be communicated to the market? Is that an ordinary press release, or will it be a more of a song and dance? Because it sounds very exciting.
There's certainly a lot of dancing, I guarantee you that. But yeah, typically we would expect to see some news shortly on that well. Being in the midst of this financing, I'm kind of restricted to what I can say. But with the completion of the drilling, we hope to have the casing and the filters run by the middle of November, and then we'll start the pump test, and that'll generate flow rates. We'll see volumes. So there'll be a steady stream of news culminating, I guess, in the final press release, looking at flow rates, looking at consistent grade. We'll get our first resource estimate. So that's we expect sometime between, I would think, the end of November and the end of the year.
Okay, cool. Extremely fascinating. This is a sector that is not red hot, it's white hot, I would say. So it will be very interesting to follow not only the development of the electronic car, as it were, but also to follow Lithium Chile. And as we can see, and as I think that you have described now, is that the news flow will be constant, and it will be very, very interesting to follow. And then again, I mean, it's not only up to you really to deliver, because the market is really looking for assets. And one thing is for sure, you have the assets. That would be my conclusion. Would you disagree, Stephen?
No, not at all. In fact, you're absolutely 100% right. I think we're in the right sector. I mean, lithium is white hot. And more importantly, because of this transition to electric mobility, right? We think the sector is going to stay hot for a long time. But also, we're in the right jurisdiction. I mean, South America is stable. South America has the highest known reserves of lithium in the world and the lowest cost. So what better place to be than we are right now?
Excellent. I think that was the best way to end this presentation. Stephen, thank you so much. Very educational. If anyone has any more questions, please don't hesitate. You have the address in this presentation. And best of luck, Stephen, and we will be watching this space. Thank you.
Well, listen, and thanks for the opportunity to tell our story. If you haven't got it, we are very excited, and I think the timing is good.
Excellent. Thank you so much.